Launched the world's first virtual estate agency in 1994. That's the slide that we've been looking at for ages here. Now there's a thing that you could have done to make money. Imagine that in 1994 you could buy this building, it had 6 self-contained holiday flats and owner's accommodation of a 3-bedroom flat for just under 90 grand. And if my memory serves me correct, I think we only got 84.5 for it when it actually sold. So anyway, however, this first virtual estate agency we set up, originally I launched my first website in 1994, and by 1998 it had become the second most visited property website in the world. And it was at that stage we thought, really we should be doing something else with this. What was happening, an awful lot of inquiries we were getting in, we were passing off to other people. People would make inquiries from us, and instead of us saying, you know, we can help or we can't help, I would always go back and say, I'm terribly sorry I can't help you, but I know somebody in Edinburgh, you know, name's Chris Chonside, he'll help you out, he's a great guy. And I would pass on the inquiry. So we began to think, how do you make that better? How do you capture more of that business? And a lot of the inquiries we often got from people were people who were in rural areas, people who didn't have a local estate agent. How do we satisfy that? So we launched Home Sales and Letting Direct, and that was the idea behind it. It was a virtual company. The idea was everything was done online or through a call centre. Gentleman down there talked about phone systems earlier. I used to gauge the growth of my business by how often we changed the phone systems. And as Chris will remember, he inherited one of my old phone systems. So when we had moved, I started life I think with 1 phone line. Within a matter of months we had 2 phone lines, then we had 5 phone lines. By the time Chris inherited one of our old systems, we're up to 32 phone lines. So as the business grew, the needs to have more phone lines grew with it. And at one stage we also had taken on a whole call centre because we'd grown to a stage where we couldn't cope with the capacity in our city centre premises anymore, and it was much cheaper to go an out of town place and set up a call centre there as well. So we had that in addition to that. And we just thought, why not use that resource? I should explain, at that stage I had 42 residential letting agencies around the country, in case I've skipped that wee bit out there, so that's what this was largely for. But the Home Sales and Letting Direct idea was basically just embracing that. All the people who might want to use an agent or might want to do part of the work themselves, and we had a plan that essentially addressed that need. It could be dealt with through the call centre. Call centre would deal with all the inquiries. Somebody phoning, inquiring about this property would get routed through to the call centre. They could phone the owner directly as well. The owner's details were on there as well. But if they phoned the call centre would ship out the brochure and everything to people. They got the for sale board or to let board at their property. They were marketed online on a hold until sold basis. But we didn't do any of the conventional advertising. We didn't do press advertising, any of these things. Although if an owner wanted a press advert, we would compile one and give it to them to run in their own paper if that's what they wanted to do. So it's a very low cost way of selling your home. As you can see, that was it. Hold until sold, £195 to sell your home, or if you were letting, £165 per annum. Our test marketing was very good. For about every 800 leaflets we dropped, we made a sale. To be more specific, we were getting, for every 300, I can't remember the exact numbers, 300 odd leaflets we dropped, we would get an inquiry, and we didn't convert everyone at the beginning. And that was largely down to the way in which the call centre staff would handle it. It was down to what I called the pregnant pause. The phone would ring and it would be, good morning, Home Sales and Letting Direct, pregnant pause, customer then comes in, yes, I've got your leaflet, and suddenly the customer's in control of the sale. As opposed to, good morning, Home Sales and Letting Direct, are you selling or letting your property? And you answer appropriately, and you keep answering questions until eventually you get to the end, and your credit card details are? And that was a different type of sale. So the ones that were dealt with that proper way, with the correct flow, answering all the questions along the way, made a sale. The ones where there was a pregnant pause invariably left with the customer saying, I'll think about it and I'll phone you back. So we'd refined that process. So at this stage, I'm going to ask you, why didn't this work? This is my biggest turkey, by the way. I lost more money on this than anything else. I'll come back to that in a wee while. I'll tell you how much money we actually lost. But we went out on we printed up 22 million of these leaflets, right? There are only 22 million homes in the UK. So in other words, every single private sector home in the UK was going to be leafleted, and some of them were going to be leafleted more than once within a relatively short space in time. We were never Yellow Pages in the country. We ran some press advertising to promote our service. Anyone have any ideas what went wrong? Why did it not work? Why did the test marketing look so successful and the reality not work?